I'm starting to think, Gabe, with players like DT Sheffield and some of those transfers that are coming in and a really, really impressive recruiting class, 2025 might be a great year for the Scarlet Knights despite that tough schedule. Watch out, Penn State and Oregon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's hoping it comes down to those two games. Here's hoping it comes down to Penn State, Ohio State, and that we beat Oregon. Oregon is the only acceptable loss we can really have all year. Obviously don't tell DT that because his mindset, just like the rest of the team should be, is to win every game. But from the casual fans' point of view and from the point of view of those doing rankings, you can afford a loss before the final 2 weeks. Make sure that you use that loss wisely if you're going to use it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And look, they call him DT Sheffield, but I am going to call him TD Sheffield because he's going to bring a lot of touchdowns for the Scarlet Knights this year in what I think is going to be a dynamic receiving core. And I think Ethan Kaliakmanis is going to take a step forward this year. And that offense is going to be something to contend with. Now, on the defensive side, we've got some size and some speed coming in for Rutgers on the defensive line. And we've got some experience in the secondary. So this Rutgers team, the pieces are starting to come together under Coach Schiano. This could be a year where Rutgers makes a real stride forward to that college football playoff.
This is the year that we start taking it seriously. We had 2 segue years. This hopefully won't be another segue year. But the thing is, defensively, what we have this year that we didn't have last year is depth, especially in the front four. We've had injuries this past year, but every college football team has injuries. That's not going to change. It's about building the system, the culture. I've said it week in, week out. With Coach Schiano, that is very possible because he is one of the best coaches, if not the best in total in Rutgers football history. So hopefully that culture can just get started with this whole new team on the other side of the football. The one that's defending is the one that the other team will fear.
Absolutely. Coach Schiano, one of the best coach in Rutgers football history. Can't ever forget that 2006 season like we discussed. But I think another season like 2006, even better, might be in store in 2025 and 2026. Got to give it to Coach Schiano and his staff for the great recruiting class. He's bringing in some great talent. Lots of 3 stars. We've got some 4 stars, and we've got some great transfers. And most importantly, filling the needs that were left from the seniors graduating, and also, from some of the deficiencies we saw last year in size and speed on that defensive line. I think the future looks bright for Rutgers, and it starts with DT Sheffield. Can't wait to have him on this evening.
Yeah, and one player that'll be next to him on that offensive line that we're really excited about is transfer Colin Weber. Or Weber, I believe it's Weber. Colin, you'll have to come on the show and correct me if I'm wrong, man. But we just got him from the transfer portal, blanking out on the name, unfortunately, but he was ranked number 9 out of 10 for the top 10 tight end transfers for 2025. So, Colin, we're excited for you too, man. We'd love to have you on.
Yeah, we'd love to have you on. We'd love to have as many players on as possible. And we're looking at you, Ethan. You've got a good year coming up. We'd love to hear you talk about some of the incoming transfers on the offensive side. What's your vision for the offense is and where you see the team going in 2025. So it should be an exciting year. The only thing I don't like, Gabe, is the offseason. It's the longest of any sport, and boy, it is long.
That is true. But guess what's around the corner? Maybe in a month or so, the transfer portal, we get some juicy transfers reopening, and I believe when I went to school, at least when I committed to Rider University in 2018, the deadline was May 1st. So that May 1st to April 10th-ish area, there's going to be a lot of good news, a lot of bad news, and a lot of neutral news to cover. So we're going to be able to extend these shows from an hour to maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours. If you started smoking cigars at the beginning, you'd be able to finish 10 of them.
That's absolutely right. The shows are going to be exciting as we prepare for what's going to be a very, very exciting 2025 season. We're looking to have some of the Rutgers players on, some of the coaches on, and to be the headquarters for Rutgers Scarlet Knights football. It's going to be a great year. So when you look ahead to 2025, Gabe, what do you think are the 2 or 3 most important things Rutgers has to improve on to really contend in the Big Ten?
So to me, number one would be well, I can't put quarterback consistency at number one because Ethan's a great talent. It definitely does need to improve. But with that being said, I'll push it aside and I'll go for the meat of the offense, or the meat of the defense, rather, the front four, even the front seven. I have a lot of faith in Jacoby Henderson, in Kaj Sanders, in Cam Miller specifically because of that Penn State that Penn State culture that he is bringing, to that it's important to win, and you won't take anything less than winning. But to me, the front four: Eric O'Neill, Doug Blue Eli, Keyshawn Griffin, Bradley Weaver. You guys need to make the quarterback feel like he doesn't have any mother effing time to throw the ball. And you need to make the running back feel like he can't afford to go wide left, wide right, and get past our linebackers. They need to attack the middle and settle for the yard or two gain. Because if they break past that front four, the linebackers, they're going to have a little bit of trouble chasing down some of these running backs that are in the Big Ten. So number one, for sure. You have any thoughts on that one?
Absolutely. I think, the key is going to be for that defensive line to really gel as a unit and put pressure and disrupt the quarterback. And it's not about getting sacks. What it's about is disrupting the quarterback's timing and getting there within 2 seconds so that the quarterback really is not comfortable in the pocket, has to make some very quick decisions, which often leads to incompletions and interceptions. And if Rutgers can do that, that takes a lot of pressure off the secondary. Because if you don't have a really solid pass rush, no matter how many people you put back there, a wide receiver is eventually going to get open. And that's what we don't want to have happen this year. And I think this year we don't want to rely over too much on the blitz. We want to rely upon those front four being able to get pressure so we could drop more people in the secondary, reduce their coverage time, and make teams one-dimensional.
And number two for me, we're getting him on the show in a little bit. Utilize DT Sheffield. That man is a beast. He can run quickly. He's good at running his routes. Slot receiver, so he's good for the check down pass. He's good for the wide receiver screen. And, we have some receivers, KJ Duff, for instance, Ian Strong. These guys are good blockers too. So if he's used for the wide receiver screen, he should be able to get downfield, barring any reading the playbook on the defensive end. So, Ethan, you need to throw this man the ball. I'm not trying to cause any issues here because we'd love to have you on the show, but just make sure he's utilized in one way or another. That's my number two.
Absolutely. And I think, when it comes down to the running game for the Scarlet Knights next year, Antoine Raymond is, I think, going to have a breakout year. And I think that with the running game being what it's going to be, if Ethan improves like we think he will, that's going to be an offense that a lot of defenses are going to struggle to stop. And if we put that together with a defensive line that's fast, that's big, and a secondary with that experience, Rutgers can put together a complete team this year.